Now, welcome to our business podcast here on Uxbridge FM. And with all that's going on, people are being asked to work from home a lot more, where they can, of course. We thought we'd catch up today with a tech expert and just grab a few tips on working from home. So joining us is Francis West from West Tech. Hi, Francis. How are you?
Very good afternoon to you. Very, very well. It's been interesting times, I must admit, but keeping very well. Thank you.
Now, what we thought we'd do is chat about maybe, first of all, a few apps that we can use to connect remotely to our company. What's the well-known ones?
Sure, there's so many that you can use out there. Some of them free and some of them you pay. And my favorite one that I'd recommend, especially in this type of environment, is Take Over My PC, or or even the ones that we're using right now, which is Teams, because it's part of your package. And so, if you need to work to collaborate, and a few people working at the same time, working on the same document, then my recommendation is use Microsoft Teams, because you're already paying for it through your subscription with Microsoft.
And then I suppose we include in that as well the team collaboration tools. You're working at home, you're feeling a bit distant from your team. What can we use? What apps? Same again, maybe Teams, or anything else that's good?
Absolutely, because I don't know if you know how easy it is to schedule a call. If I take you through it in a second. So you open up, I'm doing it as we speak right now. You open up Outlook, you go to your calendar, and you'll see at the top, where the ribbon where all the icons are, it says New Teams Meeting. And what you do, you schedule, all you need to do is click on the time like you would normally do, and you add in people's email addresses. Even if they do not have Teams, you can still invite them to a meeting, and then you can have up to 4 people speak at the same time. In other words, the video, but you can collaborate on notes. You can open up Word or Excel or PowerPoint files and work on the same file at the same time. I always said that what's it called, Google Docs will one day be surpassed by Teams, and I'll tell you what, they've done it. Not only that, you can create these chat rooms, and you can have, very similar to WhatsApp, but better. So my view is you can use Teams to replace potentially Zoom. You can use it to replace, in future, email. You heard from here first.
Wow.
Email.
Because email's been around for a while, hasn't it, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. But the problem with email is, did you know that for every email you send, you get 1.3 back? And that's why I'm now very careful when I send people emails, because I'm always the one that goes, when somebody sends me an email, I go, thank you, or cheers, or ta. I've stopped doing that. Whereas when you're in a chat environment like WhatsApp, but of course now Teams, because you can see what's going on at the moment, the current thread, you don't have to add these extra things in, which saves everybody just a lot of time.
And that's fine to use on mobile as well, I presume.
Oh, 100%.
Perfectly safe.
I've been using it on mobile, on whether it's Android or iOS. It works across the board, and in any browser as well.
Oh, great. Now, the big question, if you're working from home, is, am I secure? Am I going to be transferring viruses from the laptop that the kids have used over to the company's network? What can we do to help prevent that?
That's a very, very big question. And it's interesting, because most people, when they leave the office and they work from home, they think that everything is going to be fine. And sadly, it's not, because you can imagine at an office, they spend a significantly amount on security, locking everything down, making sure that they've got good firewalls in place and good processes in place. But as soon as you walk into the home environment, let me ask you this question. How many people at home are using a guest Wi-Fi? And I do so many talks in cybersecurity, and every time I do this talk and I ask that question, if I tell you there's 100 people in the room, maybe 2 people will put their hands up to say, yeah, Yeah, we got a guest network. Now think about this for a second. You're sitting there at the dining room table, you're working away, you're connected with a VPN tunnel back to your office, and your son or daughter or even your husband is busy on another computer that's connected to the same Wi-Fi network, and they download an attack or a ransom or malware, which is the biggest threat. Now, what happens is this stuff spreads like fire. So now it jumps from that machine onto your machine without you knowing, of course, and then it jumps down the VPN tunnel and it infects your entire office network. So my advice here, seriously, is please, I beg you, go and speak to your provider, whether it's BT or Vodafone or Virgin, doesn't matter, and say, I heard this mad South African saying that I need a guest Wi-Fi. Yes, you do, and they'll help you. It'll take about 5-10 minutes, and they'll set it up for you. And then what I recommend is you, with your laptop, in other words, your work laptop, connect to the guest Wi-Fi, because that way you'll be isolated from the rest of the network at the house. So let all your kids and everybody else connect unsecurely to that network. You connect securely to the guest Wi-Fi, and at least that way it's almost like sitting in different rooms. They can't come in, you keep the door closed and they can't infect you. That's number one. The second thing I recommend is, again, having multiple layers of security. The problems we have today is that, unfortunately, normal antivirus solutions can only protect you against known threats. And if I tell you that every second there's 4 new versions of ransomware or malware being released on the planet. And the challenge we have is that normal antivirus solutions can only protect you against known threats. And that's why we released a solution called Security Everywhere, which protects you against known and unknown threats. So recommendation there is use something similar to us, where you've got a team of security specialists that will make sure that if something comes that's unknown, that we can still kill the threat. And that would be my simplest recommendation. And then, of course, thirdly, it's about education. Please, try and educate people around you all the time about what's going out there, the scams. If you subscribe, if you send me an email to security@westec.co.uk, we'll add you to our daily cybersecurity tips. They are free. And it's just about training, because it just takes that one little message will stop you from clicking on something that will basically take down the whole network. So that's my top 3 tips.
Sounds great. So if we have to go and use Starbucks or a coffee shop, that's a real problem, is it, on a public Wi-Fi?
Absolutely. Because how do you know of all the other people connecting to the same Wi-Fi? My recommendation always is, please, rather turn on your hotspot on your phone. You go and you can tether. In other words, you connect from your laptop to your phone and out you go. Because this device is infinitely more secure than connecting to somebody's Wi-Fi that you've got no idea who else is connecting. It's like there's so many different examples, but please don't connect to guest Wi-Fi unless you absolutely have to. And if you do, don't do any financial transactions.
No. Right. That's some good advice there, Francis. Maybe we can just go through your ideal. I know you're trying to educate and protect 1 million people currently. You might increase that number by 2025. Right. We're just showing the Westec website here, which is westtech.co.uk. Tell us about that. How's it going with protecting 1 million people by 2025?
It's going very well, and I'll tell you why. I'm working now with multiple action fraud police departments around the country. I'm also working with several councils, with CAB. Dare I say, I've been involved with meetings with MI5, the Home Office, and they all agree that our biggest way to help people is to educate them. So I had my a couple of weeks ago, it was set to 100,000, and then I've gone way past that. I do a lot of posting on LinkedIn, so every day if you follow me, Francis West, on LinkedIn, you'll see that every day I post something that just educates people. No selling, only educating people about the risks of cybersecurity and, of course, things that you can do to be better aware. So my £1 million, sorry, no £1 million, I wish, my million figure for educating people, I think every day I'm probably educating another 20, 30,000 people. So I think it won't be long before I hit 1 million. And then my next target will be 10 million and this also, the other thing I like to say is that this is a team effort. When you see one of my posts, please repost it or share it with other people, because it's not just my responsibility. It's all our responsibilities to create cyber awareness. And that's why I was delighted to be asked to do this talk with you today, because the more we can share, the more people will care, the more I won't hear stories. Can I tell you a quick story of somebody I met the other day?
By all means, yes. I love a story.
Yeah, so this young gentleman, he's 25 years old, and we met at a networking event, and he runs a small estate agency. He says, "Oh, what do you do?" He said, "I've got an estate agency." I said, "I'm in cybersecurity." He said, "Oh, I so wish that I met you, a couple of weeks ago." I said, "Why?" He said, "My dad, he runs a building firm, and he just paid an invoice for £45,000 to hackers." So basically what happened was they intercepted his email because he didn't have the right security set up. And at the last minute, they changed the bank details, and his dad paid £45,000 to the hackers. And the bank doesn't want to know. They don't care. So no, I lie. They do care, but his dad pressed the pay now button.
Yeah.
So the money is gone.
Yeah.
But here comes the real sad bit, and it makes me quite sad to even tell the story. He said, "Son, I'm really sorry, but I can now not pay for your wedding this year.
Wow.
And the 20,000 I promised you to pay, and I can't pay the 25,000 pounds towards your flat that you wanted, with your fiance when you get married." And that's really sad. So this stuff is very personal.
Yeah.
This happens. When I used to hear these stories, maybe every 2 months, it's gone to every month, to now every week, and I hear 3 or 4 or 5 stories like this almost on a daily basis. And it's sad, because it affects people infinitely, I think, more than the coronavirus.
Yeah.
And that's why we all need to team together and have a lot more education and help people.
Well, Francis, it's been lovely talking to you. Thanks for those great tips. We can go to your website, which is westtech.co.uk. Do you want to give your email out again?
Yeah, sure. It's francis.w, francis.w @west, and that's WEST, tech.co.uk, and I'll be delighted to help in any way I can.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks, Francis. Talk to you soon.
All right, take care. Be safe.